Hello there, World of Tankers, I'm Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Russian and Chinese premium heavy tanks at Tier 8 in World of Tanks Blitz. I always get the question in the comments a lot of the time when a vehicle like the Object 252 comes out, or let's say the 111 and the 112 come out together. A lot of people always ask, what should I get? Should I get the 112? Should I get the IS-5? Should I get the IS-6? There's so many Russian knockoffs as the Chinese, and then you have the Russian vehicles themselves, like the T-2020, and you got the IS-5 and the Object 252. To you, especially with the IS-6 buff. There's so many different Tier 8 Russian heavy tanks to go for right now. Which one should you get? So today's video, I'm going to be doing the top 3 heavy tanks, at least in my opinion, the Tier 8 premium heavies. I'm going to be picking my top 3 and, of course, doing some live gameplay for you. And at the same time, I'm going to be telling you what the top 3 non-best are, which I'm going to be starting off right now. Number 3 position at the worst is the T-2020. I don't like this vehicle at all. It's pretty much like getting your IS-5 and then just turning it into a worse vehicle, making the frontal armor worse, making the turret worse, and as well giving it just a slower top speed, or not slower top speed, let's just say a worse engine, so you're slower overall. So the T-2020, as Skate estimates it the best way possible, the Turd 2020. Moving on to the number 2 spot, I have the IS-2SH. Now, I like this tank, but for the average player, it's not a good vehicle. In fact, it's not a good tank as it is. The lower plate is pennable by literal tier 6 guns. It's 150 millimeters. It's very easy to pen the lower plate. The side armor is also very weak on the vehicle. The frontal plate's only about 250, which means that most premium rounds pen right through it. And even the turret armor on this tank, which you'd think would be great because you're side scraping with it, it's rear turreted. Yeah, that's the biggest letdown for me, is because the turret armor on the vehicle is like the same as your tier 7 IS heavy tank, which, yeah, that's not spectacular. So this vehicle, as much as I really wanted to like it, it's just not a spectacular heavy. And the number 1 position of tanks not to buy is the WZ-111. Oh my god, I absolutely hate this tank. The 111 just kind of sucks in every single aspect. It's like your 112 Glacial, but it didn't get the lower plate buff, and as well the upper plate sucks. The 112 Glacial has an amazing upper plate. It's 300 millimeters thick. It's the same as the WZ-113, the tier 10 heavy tank, 2 tiers higher. The WZ-111, yeah, it's got a weaker upper plate, about 250 millimeters on average on some parts, and 300 on others, which, yeah, you might say, oh, but it gets troll bounces, but the 112 doesn't really get troll bounces. It just bounces everything on the upper plate. As well, the 112 Glacial pretty much has the exact same stats, except for a 2 km/h worse top speed. So yeah, the 111 will go down in history books, at least in my opinion, unless Wargaming buffs it, as the worst Russian knockoff heavy you could buy at tier 8. But getting into the number 3 position, we're going to be starting off with the 112-2. I love this tank. Ever since it came into the game, not only do I love the way it looks, but I also love the way it plays. This was very close to the 112-Glacial for me on Tanks I'd Pick. In fact, if the 112 Glacial comes into stores, I definitely would say keep an eye on it because it really is a great tank. It's just that the 112-2 is a little bit quicker. It goes 10 km/h quicker. It's got way faster reverse speed, and as well, the 112-2 has no weak spots on the roof of the turret, and that's very important, especially when you are dealing with people that know what they're shooting at. The 112-2 just doesn't have a cupola on the top, where the Glacial does, and the cupolas on the Glacial are very, very easy to penetrate. So I definitely go for the Celestial. They look very similar, though. I love both of their playstyles. So yeah, the tank, what is good about it? As I said, it goes 22 km/h in reverse. That is absolutely amazing. That is like one of the best reverse speeds you can get, and I think it is the best out of all the Russian and Chinese heavies out there you can get. And that is one really good thing, because after you shoot somebody, of course you want to back up very quickly so they don't shoot you. So yeah, great tank. As well, it's got a very front-mounted turret. You'll notice that where the gun kind of peeks out of the gun, yes, where the gun peeks out of the gun, where the gun pops out of the turret, it's very close to the frontal hull, which means you have to expose very little of your tank to be able to shoot the enemy, where most Russians, you have to pull around a corner, expose your entire pike, and then you will shoot them, but they'll half the time pen you back. This tank, you don't really have to worry about that. You can see using my great top speed, able to rush right into the position, and that is why I really do like the 112 Celestial. I keep calling it the, getting it confused with the Glacial, but let's see if we can get a shot into this Tiger too. I'm not sure if he's going to pull out fully, but looks like he did. Now, he might be able to pen us in the frontal armor. I won't be surprised, although he didn't shoot there, because the upper plate, it's about 250 to 270 effective, which is good, but it's not, amazing. It will be penned by premium rounds in the upper plate, where the Glacial will not. So they are kind of like a yin and yang thing, but I definitely feel that having mobility over losing a little bit of armor, at least in my opinion, is definitely worth it. So yeah, we've already gotten 2 nice shots out there. If we were not using the 112, we were using the Glacial here, it definitely would have been a little bit slower to get out the shots. But there you go, finishing off the RHM there. Don't want to be hit by the SU-101, but I can face hug this guy, and he's going to really struggle to penetrate us. Well, I guess not. Hitting a very lucky shot right into our weak spot there. Just getting a nice tap into the Luva there as well. But I'm not too worried about him being able to pen me. As I said, the frontal armor on this tank is great. There you go. Nice bounce right on the armor of this vehicle. Even breaking his track there with that little love tap. But another nice penetration right into the front. We also have a very nice gun, able to penetrate most tier 8 opponents we are going up against. But yeah, you can see that the Celestial really is a great tank. When it first came out, it actually came out in crates. And I actually didn't mind it coming out in crates. I didn't like, of course, the fact that it came without a drop chance. But if they had charms for it, I actually wouldn't have been so mad. It's just that they didn't have charms for it, which, yeah, didn't make me too happy. But now it doesn't come out for crates at all. It's a very cheap vehicle. You can get your hands on it pretty easily. So, yeah, I really do like the Celestial. So let's see if we can get a shot into the IS-2 here. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to. Actually, you know what? I might just be able to sneak in and come on. And there we go. Nice little tap finishing him off there. So the first game pulled out in the Celestial was a pretty dang good game. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, if you guys do agree with me. Of course, if you like this content, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Really does help out the channel. But there you go. First game, nice amount of credits. Good damage as well at 2,200. So yeah, that's the Celestial for you. Did top on the team, and that was a pretty good, I'd say, battle to show you how the tank works. So that is the number 3 position. Now moving into the number 2, this is also a very, very tough one for me because there's a lot of vehicles. I will say the IS-5, if you don't have it and you are level 10 unlocked on your clan, get it. This isn't like a vehicle that's comparable to the others because this one's $5. The other tanks are usually a little bit more expensive, but the IS-5 is just extremely cheap to get your hands on. So this tank as well is great to get. But moving on to the next one, I'm actually going to be doing the IS-6. I was close to doing the IS-3 Defender for the number 2 spot, but the issue with the IS-3 Defender is while it may have 7 degrees of gun depression, it may be quick. It did not have an armor buff, and it's been in the game for many, many years now. In fact, one of the oldest Russian heavies in the game, which means that the armor doesn't really work too well. It's the old model of the IS-3, and yeah, it's definitely very weak, only about 200 millimeters in the upper plate, means that pretty much every heavy tank that is going up against it easily pens it right in the front, where the IS-6 just received the buff, which in my opinion made it actually better than most of the other Russian heavies in the game currently. The IS-6 Fearless upper plate is about 260 millimeters thick, which is very impressive. That means that you can bounce quite a bit of the shells. Premium shells will find their way entering your tank, but it's still very nice to be able to bounce shells in the first place. It's got the little side cutouts on the vehicle, which also are about 300 millimeters thick when aiming dead on, which, yeah, that's very tough to penetrate. The IS-6 Fearless has an amazing turret, very tough to hit, and as well it has one of the more accurate Russian heavy guns out there. So the IS-6 Fearless kind of is good at everything, and that's why I think it's definitely one of the top picks. Second of all, you can easily get it right now if you wanted to get it. It's definitely not a bad tank to get in your garage. It's one of the most used Russian heavies as well. You can see there's one right next to me. So yeah, let's get straight into this game here, show how the armor profile works and everything else like that. Now the IS-6 is not necessarily the fastest of heavies. It only goes about 35 kilometers per hour, which isn't ridiculously fast. But where it does lack in the speed it makes up, as I said, in the armor departments, it has everything else going for it. So I wanted to push my Russian heavy tank towards the heavy route because they do have quite a bit of heavies. They got the M6 EXP, they've got the Luva, they got the M103, that's 3 heavies, so therefore they should be pushing them towards the heavy route. And I'm just going to do a quick spotting run real quick here. This is actually a nice position to spot enemy opponents. I'm just going to wait right here. Let's see if they do push this way. There we go, we've got the M6 spotted already, and I'm going to actually break down this little barrier here. That way I can shoot through it. But, yes, let's see if there's anybody else that does want to get detected over on this side. I just like to spot people here. It's very nice. But, Yeah, not very promising numbers coming out right now. M103 you'd expect to be pushing this way, but oh boy, they really got nuked on the other side. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the enemy team's doing. There you go. So the M6 is pulling out. Can't really pen that guy. Well, I'm going to back up. So we've got the... Okay, so they did push their heavies this way. Pretty much what I thought. So yeah, we do have that going. Something bounced me for 225 at the back of the map. I'm not really sure what would do that, but yeah, I'll take the bounce any day of the week. So we've got the Luva right there as well. We've got the Pantera. There's a nice tap right into the front of the guy for 400 damages here. I have my IS-6 actually coming in to help me, so I'm very happy actually. That's usually rare. You don't have your teammates come back, but you know, got to stick together with your IS tank. So let's get another nice tap right into the Pantera. Let's see if my teammate will finish him off here. Come on, IS. There you go. Nice shot right into him. So that is the first vehicle taken right out for our side over here. And you can see I did bounce the shots. The tracks are very troll on your IS-6 Fearless. They suck in a lot of shells. So next up we have the M6 Experimental. And yeah, I'm going to hopefully be getting a high explosive right in the side of this guy because, of course, he has very weak side armor. So let's do that. Well, I actually don't have enough gun depression, but there we go. Nice little HE for 513 damage. So you can see the IS-6 is just a good all-rounder at everything, and for it being on the tech tree, it's very cheap to get your hands on. Let's just get one more HE right in the butt of this guy. Well, somehow that didn't penetrate. As you can see, we should have penetrated that with HE, but you know what, my luck isn't the best always, but the IS-6 should be finishing that guy off. So there you go. Another tank finished off here. As you can see, it's just like a breeze cutting through the enemy team if you know what you're doing here. So all that's left here is the Luva and the M103. This Luva, not really sure if he knows what he's doing here, but let's get a nice little tap right through the turret. 333. Like that pretty solid number there. This T92 is going to get a nice tap in, and yeah. So this was, again, a pretty simple game, but a very effective one at that. So I don't think we're going to be getting out any more damage this game here. You know what? We might actually be able to. Don't know why these guys didn't be able to get here quick enough, but hey, another very nice game pulled out. Once again, 2,000 damage. You don't really expect to get out more than 2,000 damage in your Russian and Chinese heavies. They're not super quick. They don't have the most DPM. They're just good at getting at the brute force in the front lines, and that's what they're kind of good at. So you'll notice here, again, we blocked quite a bit of shots. We received 3. One of them bounced. Actually, I think 2 of them kind of bounced. One of them did penetrate, but overall, I really do enjoy the IS-6 Fearless. So all of you probably know what the #1 tank is, and that would be the Object 252. I'm pretty sure all of you knew it was going to be that. It's kind of the undefeated champion. It's very cheap. When the last time it came into the stores, it was extremely cheap, and I don't think they're going to raise the price tag on it, because why would you raise the price tag on a vehicle you've already sold very cheap? So what's good for the Object 252? Well, first of all, this is the only tank out of all those vehicles you saw there that actually has 420 average damage, which isn't really a massive buff, but it still is nice to be able to max roll people for 525. You still do have that little bit more of damage on the threat. As well, this tank is very nice. It goes 35 kilometers per hour on the speed. It's got a good average speed as it is, and as well, it's got great penetration, and well, yeah, you've all been waiting for me to say, it's got a ridiculously thick upper plate and as well thick turret. It's kind of like the IS-6 turret, where you've got those cupolas on top. They're about the same height, so you can penetrate the turret, but you've got to be very skilled to know when to shoot at that, when you're face-hugging it. So yeah, the Object 252 is just a great tank overall, so I'm going to be pushing it right over towards the heavy side. My team not really wanting to stick together here. We've got 3 tanks pushing over to the medium side. We've got, I don't know. I don't really know what my teams do anymore. I don't look at my lineups, but thankfully, with my Object 252, I do have a very troll armor profile. I will say that this bounces the most shells out of all the vehicles listed. However, it doesn't necessarily have the best armor profile. I do think that the 112-2 actually... Oh, there you go. That was fun. But I actually do think the 112-2 has the best armor profile out of all the tanks, just because it's reliable on the upper plate. Lower plate, it's got the great turret armor. I think that actually is the most reliable on the armor profile. It's just that the Object 252 not only has good armor, it's got the gun, and as well, it's very troll. It's just great overall. But here we go. Let's see if we can get another shot into this Luva here. Just going to aim right at him. I doubt he can even scratch us. Well, take it back. I don't know where he penned me. No clue whatsoever where he penned me. Like, I'm not even going to bother to think about it, because that was just truly ridiculous. But we got the Luva still sticking his turret out here, and no, I'm not going to be able to pen that. But we do have the Foch right here, and not sure what he expected to happen there. But the biggest issue for me is the ISU pulling up behind me. So yeah, I'd much rather deal with the Foch than the ISU. I'm just going to rush the Foch here. Let's see if we can take him out. That ISU actually kind of screwed his Foch buddy here. So let's see if we can take out the Foch. I'm just going to try and get the side of him here. That way it's very easy for me to finish him off there. Kind of stuttering. It's about 2 in the morning for me. So Droodles needs sleep after this. But yeah, we're still getting out the damage here. Able to flank our teammate. And with the wonderful power of side scraping here, we should be able to bounce the shot. So let's see if we can get the nice tap right into the lower plate. There we go. And again, I'm going to continue side scraping. Oh boy, my WT just lost a massive chunk of his hit points. So yeah, that never is very fun, but even if this ISU out-reloads me, it's not the end of the world here. We're going to get another nice tap into the guy, see if we can bounce the shot. No, we did not. That was a very high roll there. I think he actually wanted to die from the ram to me, but again, a very nice game here. Our 3rd victory in a row. And yeah, you can see that all 3 of these tanks are very good in their own ways played. And let's just see if we can get a little bit of the Russian accuracy. There you go, just hitting the guy with full dispersion. But yeah, again, a very nice game, able to penetrate not only the Foch, we were able to deal with the Tier 9 tank destroyer. This tank pretty much dealt with everything just like all of the other ones would have, in my opinion. So let's again use our Russian accuracy here, see if we can hit the shot. No, we cannot. But overall, those are my top 3 picks. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree with me. But other than that, I hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy. Make sure to subscribe if you do enjoy the content, but I'll see you in the next one.